Brilliant. Thanks very much, Caroline, for that introduction. And great to have you here, Stefan Diez.
Thank you, Simon.
I should say, in case you don't know him, if you don't know him, you should be ashamed of yourselves. And for those of you who maybe need a short refresher, I have a 3-line biography here, which says, established in 2003 and based in Munich, Diez Office designs and develops products for everyday use, focusing in particular on the potential of the circular economy. Stefan and his team's practice is characterized by innovation through technical expertise, instinct, and a passion for experimentation. Stefan is also the Architektur und Wohnen Designer of the Year for 2022, so congratulations on that. Well deserved. Well deserved. And we are going to, in this very short conversation, focus on your latest, and we can see it on the screen behind us, and we're also sitting on it, your latest collaboration with Brunner, the German, the celebrated German manufacturer, and it's called Mudra. And yeah, the first question is a shell chair. Do we need another shell chair? What's so special here?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Simon, for this difficult question.
They get easier.
I know we can either give you a really honest answer, try to do it like this. I think, of course, we need a new shell chair because it's we need new products in a way because it's the way our society is working. It's very often when we rethink the way we act in this on this planet, we think, maybe if you stop breathing, that's the best what we can do. But that would be actually a dilemma. It would collapse the economy. It would collapse the way we are collaborating. It would collapse our social life. So products and services are an important part of our cultural life. It's important just that we do them in such a way that they are not on the cost of a newer generation or next generation. That's it. So, and what we did with Brunner is we grabbed on a topic. The topic is like a shell chair, a universal chair that we can use in a restaurant, in a cafeteria, at home on a dining table, but also on a conference table context. And we built it together with Brunner in such a way that it's a modular system. Every part is exchangeable, replaceable. It's actually built for service. And this is the way I believe the economy has to develop towards. It should not become a recycling industry, but it should become a kind of a service industry that we as designers developed a backbone, like the initial product, on which over the life cycle you can develop, let's say, a new value chain by service.
Right, but this would mean. I think you explained that very well, Stefan. This means that this is open-ended. I mean, there is literally no life cycle if you buy one of these chairs. It can go on and on forever. It's continually serviced.
Exactly. This is how we plan our products since at least I would say 10 years after quite a disillusionating experience that we had after the first years of a design studio that was somehow growing up in the years of globalization, where things was, it was just amazingly seductive to just use materials and technologies and use this kind of potential of Asia and cheap manufacturing to just produce a lot of stuff. And I think what we do now with Brunner and other companies like Midgard or Margis is just the opposite. We are just creating a platform for the service industry.
It's almost like design as subscription. You subscribe to a product, and then you're buying this long-term service as well as a kind of physical product. It's a fascinating model, I think.
Yeah, it's actually it's fascinating, and it's opening actually a very interesting chapter because it's as what we are doing is actually rethinking the retail and the role of the retailers.
Right.
And in my vision of a future, it's the retailer is having an extremely important role in this kind of life cycle discussion because he's or she's the one, let's say, that's directly in contact with the consumer, and if that instance is able to, let's say, prolong or is able to, let's say, execute the service to prolong the life of a product, it would be extremely sustainable. And it's also like, of course, giving this kind of branch a completely new perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is going to be one of the kind of key conversations in the sustainability debate going forward. And it's great that this particular collaboration with Brunner has made this explicit, and we'll see where it goes.
I think it's for me personally an extremely fascinating topic because in how few years we are. What we've learned is really enormous. I mean, when we start thinking about circular economy, I think everybody was thinking about recycling. Let's use recycling, recycled materials, etc. But it took a while until I think until we understood it's much more about actually not recycling it. It's recycling is actually the least option that we should give a product. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. It's a different narrative. Yes, absolutely. Can I ask you just in a few words to explain what's special about the collaboration with Brunner, working with Brunner as opposed to working with other manufacturers? You're in the very privileged position, and you've earned this position through your work of enjoying. You enjoy a particular kind of status, and this allows you, I guess, to decide who you work with to a large extent. But what does collaboration with Brunner have about it that's particular?
What fascinates me, or what is the critical aspect, is for me the expertise of a company on the level how they treat the material, how they execute. How professional they are working, and not so much what kind of image they have in the design universe. I think we are now in a time where, let's say, many of the old players have somehow come to a point where it's not. I think they're somehow not as present anymore as 5 years ago. So it's giving a lot of new room for new brands to step on this stage and to show what they can do. And what fascinated me about Brunner is the way they produce their products. They're absolutely perfectly manufactured, and I thought that it's a great base to develop a chair that is basically good craftsmanship.
Yeah, right. It still also comes down to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, isn't that the thing that is most fascinating? Just like a really good product that when after 3 years of developing, you walk around your product, and out of all angles you are saying, okay, I can't find a really shitty spot anymore, and that's where I would like to go with my products.
Brilliant.
To that point.
Great. Just looking at the time here, some questions from our audience. I know there are a few journalists here. They've always got sneaky questions. Oh, there's the man at the back with the big beard and the
Thanks. I'm not a
cheeky smile.
But I do have a sneaky question, I guess. Thanks. I appreciate your discussion on sustainability and object functionality. I don't know your work closely enough to ask specific questions, but you do raise this general concept of sustainability and design. And so I was looking, when I was leaving my home, I noticed that I have a ton of objects who retain their functionality, but their design is just totally obsolete, and it just drives me nuts. I feel like I'm being surrounded by junk, even though they're in great shape, and I paid a lot of money for them 5 years ago. And so my question is, how do you, when you talk about design and sustainability and functionality. How do you connect design to that drive for newness and creativity, and that generates obsolescence in all of the objects that we're surrounded by? Is that a issue that comes up, or is the discussion?
It's a great, as obsolescence is a great aspect, because obsolescence is the core of the business model of the old economy. If you, a chair or a product that you sold and that is breaking down just after that amount of years, that you don't blame the seller, but you say, okay, just the product gave up, it's okay, I'm gonna buy a new one. That's just creating a kind of a turnover, and that's how the economy is working. So, of course, obsolescence is
Leica cameras are great and they last a long time, but Leica's still coming out with new types and new brands and new forms. So I guess that's my question, that we do have a lot of manufacturers who create integrity and object longevity, but it's the design itself that establishes obsolescence of objects. At least that's what I understand around sort of high-end consumption. So I was just curious if that's something that came up.
Yeah, but if you bring technology like electronics into this discussion, it's very difficult to mix it with furniture, because we have a totally different kind of lifespan. Like, you expect from a phone to last maybe 2 years or 5 years, and that it still works, but from a furniture you have a totally different lifetime expectation. And I think we should be honest in a way that we are humans, we are curious, technology is driving us into new kind of fields, and we need that curiosity to bring us forward. So I think it would be sad to just like give up all on that, to say, okay, let's freeze everything and we just digest whatever we have done so far. I think we have a possibility to do both, to be still curious, but we just should be more responsible to treat the material in a better way that we are doing. And I mean, just look into, furniture already quite significant amount of material, but look into architecture, look at all this there's so much room for improvement. And I think in a way, we have to rethink our role of designers. And our role is not necessarily always to produce a new product. It can be maybe also a service, or helping a company to establish a service, or to... one of the most exciting projects in the moment is actually in our studio to be in dialogue with retailers and to see how can we empower them to play an important role in the market. But it's all new. There's a lot of work to do.
I hope that answers your question. It was a very good question, I think. And I completely agree. I think the role of the designer has become completely diversified. And value is being created by designers in many different ways, not just by literally the act of drawing, which is the original meaning of the word design. Short question from anyone else? We got a minute or two left. Go on. Somebody must have a question. Yes. From a journalist in Madrid, if I remember correctly.
Well, yes, your products are created for a special space. All the spaces are changing right now, not only houses or homes, offices, hospitals, universities. Are your products thinked or developed for a kind of space or a special atmosphere? Do you think about the spaces they are going to occupy?
Yeah, I think about the people that are using them more than I don't know. I often think about friends or people that are close to me when I rethink a product or development. I think about how are we using them. I think that is very empiric what I do, but I think it's on the way, it makes sense. I'm not believing in a marketing thinking that I'm trying to put myself into the position of someone that I don't even know. I mean, I look at it from the eye of someone I know.
That's interesting. So biography, personal biographies of help inform the process.
Design is a social act, I mean, in a way.
Brilliant. Great. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was insightful. Thanks very much to you, Stefan, and great. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks to Brunner, of course, as well. Thank you.